Hey friends, welcome back to Finding Grace with Paula. I'm glad you're here with me today. I thought I'd sit down and have a cup of coffee and chat with you a little bit about what's been happening the past couple days with me and my husband. And as many of you know, he has had some health issues, and I've been his caretaker for, goodness, at least 4 or 5 years, but this has been going on for quite a while, at least 8 years. And he recently developed an infection in his leg, and we've been trying to have it taken care of, and we thought it was, and then it came back. It was something that we needed to take care of right away, and so we actually drove into Chicago. We live way out in the suburbs. Drove into Chicago to go to the University of Chicago hospital, and a couple people told us that we should go there. It's one of the best hospitals in the area, and who knows, maybe even farther than that. And so we ended up going there, and we were in the ER. And as many of you know, probably, it's not a fun place to be because you sit for many, many hours. And we were in the ER for totally sitting out in the ER and then going in the back room and hanging out with the nurses back there, seeing multiple doctors. It was a total of about 11 hours before he got a room. We got the room and it was about 11:30 at night. And we tried to sleep that night, but early the next morning, we had some people, some interns, some residents, nurses, everybody coming in to check him out, ask questions. It's a teaching hospital, so there were a lot of residents there, and everybody was just trying to get it all figured out. So in the meantime, a couple things were done that helped him, but we never got to see the surgeon that we thought was going to operate on him, and it ended up they didn't operate on him, and we went home on Friday, late Friday. We were going to see the surgeon, or we are going to see the surgeon on Wednesday, so we've still got that planned. But in the meantime, we were going to come home on Friday evening, and I wanted to be on the expressway that I felt most comfortable with before it got dark. And it's just crazy how things happen. But anyway, so it was a very, very hectic time. And anyway, we were on our way out the door, and it was about quarter after 7, 7:30 in the evening, and it was going to really start getting dark an hour later. By the time we left the hospital, I was emotionally exhausted, and I wanted to stay strong for my husband. I wanted to, be the person that can get him home safely and take care of him, and everything that that women do for their husbands and their kids. And I was trying to think clearly on what I needed to do to get home. And so anyway, we left the parking garage, and when I got outside, I pulled over on the side of the road, and I worked on my phone to get the directions. Excuse me, I need coffee. Anyway, so I worked on the phone to get the directions, and I got them perfectly, and I clicked the button, and no volume was coming out. All it was showing me was the directions. Well, I can't drive on the expressway looking at my phone. Talk about being frustrated. This was it. It started. I could feel myself beginning to get so frustrated that I didn't know where I was going to go with it. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take off and see if I can handle that. Well, 2 blocks up the way, I pulled over again, and I'm working on my phone. And now I'm feeling it. My blood is boiling, and it is starting to explode. And I'm working on my phone, and I'm like, why can't my phone tell me where to go. I know that I updated my phone like that night. So I thought maybe something got screwed up with the phone and it wasn't talking to me. Maybe I didn't have my notifications turned on. I don't know, but it was certainly very frustrating. So I started off again without the volume, started off again, and two more blocks later, I didn't know where in the world I was. I didn't know which way was west. I didn't even think, look at the sun. It is setting in the west. I was just frustrated. And so, anyway, I pulled over again and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I don't know what I'm going to do. There was a cop parked kind of across from me. I don't know if he was in the car or not, but I was ready to go over and ask for help. Because that's what women do. We ask for help. But I'm sitting in the car thinking, I can do this. I am strong enough. I can do this. Doggone it. This phone isn't going to take me over. The phone kind of took me over. I got to the point where I was getting emotional, and I didn't want to get emotional because my husband's sitting right next to me and he's trying to help, but he can't help. And I just burst out into tears. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't want to be here in the dark. I don't know where I am. And I just finally was like, God, God, help me. And he did. I put my phone down. I was ready to throw it out the window. I put my phone down and I looked at our GPS. Now, this GPS has not been updated in a while, and I wasn't sure it would work. So I turned it on and it worked. And I plugged in all of the information on getting home. And I was like, oh my God, thank goodness that this worked, because I don't know what I would have done. Anyway, sorry for that. I don't know what it is, but the older you get, the more emotional you get. Anyway, what I plugged in was a longer route to get home. I thought I was plugging in a faster route, but I didn't. I plugged in the longer route, which did not take me on the expressway. And I was kind of happy about that, actually, because the part of the expressway that I was needing to go on had a lot of turns, and I just wanted to make sure I was going in the right direction. And so I ended up going the long route down Roosevelt Road, which, if any of you live in the Chicagoland area, I think it goes from one end of the state, from Lake Michigan, all the way to the other end of the state, and it goes west. And that's where I needed to go, was west. And we're driving along and we're stopping for every stoplight and stop sign, and there's people about, and there must have been a carnival going on, and so people were out having fun, and we were just looking at all the architecture. Chicago's full of beautiful architecture, and the houses are right next to each other, like in a row houses, and everything was just beautiful. And it was starting to get dark, but I knew the road I was on, and I was on my way home. And it took probably an hour and a half to get home, which wasn't too bad, actually, because it probably would have taken me the same amount of time on the expressway, because there's a lot of traffic on the expressway in Chicago on Friday night. The next day was Saturday, and I woke up, sat down, had a cup of coffee, and called my really, really good friend. And we had a conversation about the hospital. She wanted to get an update on my husband and see how I was doing. And so I told her all about it, and I told her about the fiasco I had in the car. And she said, "You know what, Paula? I think God answered your prayer twice." And I had to stop and think for a second, because I had only seen one answer, the GPS. But I hadn't realized that He had also given me something that I didn't even notice, and it was peace. It made me wonder, how many times do you ask for one thing and you don't always get the answer that's expected, but exactly what I needed at that moment was peace. Peace for the way home. Um, we were sitting in the car, just driving home, and I felt more comfortable taking that long route on a road that I was familiar with than going through the hectic interstate. And I felt peace at that time. And that was something that I really needed, because in the state that I was in, I didn't need to be on an expressway and then take the wrong exit or go the wrong way and you have cars zooming past you. That was one thing I didn't need. So I got my answer first with the GPS, and then I had a very peaceful ride all the way home. Now, I don't know what Wednesday will bring. We're still waiting. We're still praying. We're still hoping that the orthopedic surgeon can help my husband. So the story doesn't really end today with everything being fixed. But maybe that's why I wanted to share it with you. Because some things don't always get fixed before they really teach us something. Not everything is perfect. Not everything works out the way we want it to. But I think along the way, we're being taught something. And sometimes I think it's grace. I feel very strongly about grace. That's why I wrote the book, Finding Grace in Every Season of Life. But sometimes grace shows up in the middle of uncertainty. And if you're going through a difficult season, maybe you're caring for, someone you love, maybe you have health challenges of your own, maybe you're worried about your family, or maybe you're simply exhausted. Sometimes I feel like that. But I hope you remember this. Don't stop looking for the little blessings. Sometimes they come in unexpected ways. For me, it was an old GPS. It was a beautiful ride through the city, and a friend, a friend who helped me see something that I completely missed. So thank you for spending a little time with me today. Thank you for prayers for my husband. And it truly means a lot to have you here with me and for me to be able to share these things with you. And it really helps me feel better. I hope it helps you feel better. And keep looking for grace. Sometimes it's just right there in front of you, even when we don't see it at first. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to share it with a friend who may need this video, please do so. Please subscribe and like my page. I'd love to have you continue all my conversations with me, and I'd like to get to know you. Let me know where you're from, and if you've had a similar situation like me, I'd really love to know. Bye for now.